For the first time in human history, we have a remarkable opportunity to explore interplanetary space. And this is thanks to the persistent ambition of Elon Musk. The billionaire is constructing a powerful spacecraft that'll propel humanity beyond the confines of the universe, using unique methods that not everyone's capable of. Beyond Starship, the developed variations of it will introduce groundbreaking concepts that'll lead the trends in rocket technology and shock the world. Let's dive into today's episode of Alpha Tech. Starship is the next generation spacecraft by SpaceX, designed as a colossal rocket system capable of complete reusability, offering lower costs and more frequent flights to conquer Mars. Since 2019, the rocket's been emerging like a silver sentinel made of stainless steel, reflecting the sunlight from a launch site in South Texas along the Gulf of Mexico. The vehicle features aerodynamic fins that'll be needed to navigate Mars's atmosphere upon landing. This version of Starship will also feature a heat shield to cross the atmosphere on Mars and upon return to Earth. It's designed to carry out frequent voyages to enable a spacefaring civilization. The Starship comprises of two variants. The first contains a crew cabin. SpaceX was founded with the ultimate goal of making life multiplanetary. The Starship program's realizing this goal with the crew configuration of Starship. It'll feature a 1,000 cubic meter cabin capable of accommodating 100 passengers. The common area will feature large windows and private rooms and could host 3 individuals comfortably. The crew configuration of Starship includes private cabins, large common areas, centralized storage, solar room shelters, and a viewing gallery. According to Elon Musk, the founder and chief engineer over at SpaceX, a journey aboard Starship will be fun and feature a variety of entertainment. The crew compartment or the occupant compartment is set up so that you can do zero-gravity games, you can float around. There will be movies, lecture halls, cabins, and a restaurant. It'll be really fun to go. You're going to have a great time, he says. The second one is a Starship variant dedicated to cargo transport. The cargo Starship will have a large cargo bay instead of a habitation area. Starship's cargo configuration will not feature windows. It'll be fully enclosed, capable of deploying 150 tons of cargo. Its payload fairing will have a width of 8 meters and an extended volume capable of accommodating payloads as long as 22 meters. No other spacecraft currently operating is that large. This feature would enable companies to deploy entire constellations of satellites into low Earth orbit in a single launch. SpaceX Starship user guide states, the standard Starship for payload fairing is 9 meters in outer diameter, resulting in the largest usable payload volume of any current or in development launcher. The Starship payload fairing is a clamshell structure in which the payload's integrated. Once integrated, the clamshell fairing remains closed through launch up until the payload is ready to deploy. In addition to the Starship specially designed for Mars missions, SpaceX has also developed another variant known as Starship Lunar or HLS under a contract with NASA to execute missions of sending astronauts back to the moon after over half a century. The adaptation process for the spacecraft to facilitate lunar landings differs from the version intended for Mars. Factors like heat shields, aerodynamic flaps, or large gas thrusters akin to those of Starship Mars variant are unnecessary to maximize payload for lunar surface missions. A lunar-optimized Starship can fly many times between the surface of the Moon and lunar orbit without flaps or heat shielding required for Earth return, SpaceX stated. These lunar-adapted Starships could serve as habitats for constructing a lunar base. No need to bring early ships back. They can serve as part of Moon Base Alpha. For the expanded lunar Starship design, SpaceX has designed the legs of the lunar variant to provide a wide stance and automatic balance on the rugged or tilted lunar surface during landing. Furthermore, there are thrust engines positioned on the front sides of the spacecraft to aid in stability during potential large dust storms on the Moon. Next, another variant of the Starship is the Starship tanker. When Starship's launched into space, it uses most of its fuel on the way to orbit and will not have enough fuel to travel to the Moon or Mars, let alone return. Once it reaches orbit, with a full payload, the only remaining fuel is in two header tanks that it uses for burning and landing. That's why SpaceX will need a spacecraft variant that's specifically planned to operate as a tanker, designed to provide fuel for the Starship traveling to planets within the solar system, ensuring that the spacecraft has enough fuel to reach distant destinations and return. Due to the unique mission of the fuel transport ship, it also has some design differences from the standard Starship. As a fuel transporter, it maximizes the space solely for storing 90 to 120 tons of fuel, which is possible. Its major advantage is that it doesn't need to return to Earth, which allows significant weight savings in design and construction. It won't require heavy thermal shielding, and weight is saved by eliminating 3 Raptor engines at sea level. In addition, it requires companions, the fueling starships, to be sent from Earth to orbit. These are starships designed with robust heat shields, as they'll have to withstand the Earth's atmospheric reentry while delivering fuel. According to Elon, it'll take at least 8 refueling missions to fully load a trip to the moon in the future. Once the fuel storage starship and the fueling starship are in stable operation, long-distance journeys from Earth will no longer be as challenging. Elon Musk's ambitious destination is Mars. He set a goal to send over 1 million people to the Red Planet by 2050. To make this colonization self-sustaining, SpaceX needs to transport a vast amount of materials, estimated to be up to 1 million tons from Earth. This endeavor comes with significant costs, prompting SpaceX to devise a practical yet efficient means of interplanetary human transportation. Starship 1.0 might not suffice, leading them to develop a new variant, Starship 2.0. According to Elon, the next-generation spacecraft, Starship 2.0, will be twice the size of its predecessor and will serve as a vessel for transporting personnel and cargo to the Moon and Mars. Musk tweeted that Starship 2.0 will have a diameter of 18 meters instead of 9 meters, making it the widest rocket ever constructed. That implies that the next rocket could potentially carry around 1,000 tons per launch. In case you didn't know, doubling the diameter of a circle increases its area fourfold. Coupled with doubling its height, Starship 2.0 is assumed to have a surface area 8 times larger, a propellant tank volume 8 times larger, a required thrust 8 times greater, and a vehicle mass 8 times heavier compared to Starship 1.0. This also means that the next iteration of SpaceX's Super Heavy could potentially carry payloads of up to 800,000 kilograms to low Earth orbit, the Moon, and Mars, provided orbital refueling becomes an option. To launch such a colossal rocket, SpaceX will require a larger and more powerful set of engines than the current Raptor 2 engines. Fortunately, they're also developing Raptor 3 engines and might even innovate further for even better engines. Not only does SpaceX have plans for the future colossal Starship variant, but they've also planned for an even more advanced variant, considering the effects of prolonged microgravity during extended space delays. From this perspective, they're researching another variant of Starship, called the Starship Gravity. Unlike shorter trips, such as those to the Moon, the prolonged duration of the journey to Mars poses unique risks to the health and well-being of the astronauts. Microgravity, experienced during deep space travel, leads to a myriad of health issues, including significant bone loss at a rate of 1 to 1.5% a month, akin to accelerated osteoporosis. Moreover, muscles suffer substantial atrophy, resulting in reduced strength and endurance, with the lower extremities being particularly vulnerable. Astronauts also grapple with disruptions to the neurovestibular system, affecting balance, vision stabilization, and spatial orientation. This can lead to disorientation and coordination difficulties upon returning to Earth. While exercise routines have been employed to counteract microgravity's detrimental impacts, the creation of artificial gravity on board the Starship could offer a more comprehensive and effective solution. At the heart of this innovative approach lies the utilization of rotation to replicate the comforting embrace of Earth normal gravity, presenting a tantalizing prospect of safeguarding the well-being of passengers throughout the arduous voyage. A system of interconnected starships orchestrates a choreographed dance in space, with a central hub ship flanked by passenger vessels. The payload bay of the hub ship ingeniously transforms into a skeletal wheel structure, akin to spokes radiating from a hub. As the wheel unfurls robotically and locks into position, the synchronized rotational motion commences, generating a centripetal force that effectively simulates gravity. According to scientists, a rotational speed of 31 meters per second is needed to achieve simulated gravity similar to that of Earth. This helps astronauts enhance their physiological health and muscle strength by counteracting the adverse effects of prolonged exposure to microgravity. Gravity in space has been a significant challenge, but velocity in space is equally crucial. The minimum distance from Earth to Mars is around 55 million kilometers. To get there, astronauts need approximately 7 months on a spacecraft. The physical strains, radiation exposure, and psychological pressures of being isolated for an extended duration present numerous challenges for the journey. This is why Elon is also quite intrigued by a Starship variant that utilizes nuclear energy to enhance the propulsion of his rockets. At its core, Starship Nuclear harnesses the potential of nuclear thermal propulsion, or NTP, a revolutionary technology that promises to propel spacecraft at unprecedented speeds and efficiency. Unlike conventional chemical rockets that rely on combustion, NTP systems utilize controlled nuclear reactions to heat propellant, generating a powerful and sustained thrust. This innovation holds immense promise for interplanetary travel, offering the potential to dramatically reduce travel times to distant celestial bodies like Mars. The efficiency of NTP systems could lead to journey time reductions of up to 25%, significantly minimizing the exposure of astronauts to the hazards of prolonged space travel, such as cosmic radiation and microgravity. Additionally, NTP's increased efficiency means that missions could be more flexible. By leveraging the immense power of nuclear propulsion, the Starship could even unlock enhanced mission flexibility, enabling launches and expeditions even when planetary alignments aren't ideal. This capability could be a game-changer for future interplanetary endeavors, allowing for more frequent missions. Additionally, the advanced propulsion system's efficiency could substantially decrease the amount of fuel needed for space travel, making it economically viable and sustainable for long-duration missions. That's all for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Your feedback is very important to us and helps us make better videos for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.